So my friends, welcome to training session today. Today on the basketball court workout, I will tell a little bit about my workout, which are the advantages, the disadvantages and why maybe this is good for you. I have here a kettlebell as always, I have my body weight, I have a rope for pull-ups, and that is all what I need. I don't need more. So the thing is, we check it out, it rains, doesn't matter. I make a few kettlebell exercises and then I will tell you things which are maybe a good solution to you. But as always, if you don't like it, then make your stuff in training, because there is a whole bubble. Everyone has their opinion, everything okay. But I can tell you from my experience and what I think is useful and which is healthy, what is really healthy for your body, that you can play, train after 10, 20, 30 years without joint problems, So let's start it. Kettlebell.
Give it to me.
So these are a few exercises which I use as a warm-up, but again I make joint mobility, always the joint movements, You have seen that a lot of times, to warm up your joints, very important. You produce the synovial fluid, the joints are very, very important. And to bring up your heartbeat, that I make with bicycle. When I come here, I walk, that you come up, and then a few deadlifts, a few cleans. Now in rain, be careful because the grip is completely slippery. I would never make snatches overhead because the danger that it falls down is very high. You have to be more controlled on the grip now than on the technique. But this is a little warm up and then you can go in the other exercises. Now we go on with the exercises. So my friends, that is a little workout, and you see my heartbeat is not that much on, you know. When you let do this other people, they will completely out of breath because they have other technique. And now I will tell you something. Maybe when people watch, they will say, wow, that was wrong, that was wrong. The knees, when I make this, were going forward and not this, you know. But when you make the correct form, this is dynamic presses, you know. That is a correct thing. You make a little squat and then you go up with your shoulder. But I use the competition style in that case. In kettlebell we have competition style and the fitness style, you know. The hard style, the RKC style, call it what you want. I know both styles. A mentor from mine, he lives in Zurich, you know, and he has trained, for example, with Steve Cotter. Yeah, he's a legend in the kettlebell game, you know, and his mentor was Valery Fedorenko. Yeah, and Valery Fedorenko was the first world champion in kettlebell sport in 1993, an absolutely legend in the game, and he is a competition guy. Yeah, and for example, 3 weeks ago in my training room where you see me at night often, I had a guy in by me who worked a lot of times out with Pavel, you know, Pavel Tsatsouline. And so I know a lot of things, you know. A guy from me who I trained with, he worked out with Steve Maxwell back then with the kettlebells. And I use the competition style. And there are two things which to me are useful, which are advantages. First of all, I don't want to make a shoulder workout now. This is more the healthier way for the shoulder. The shoulder has to stabilize, but that's what I do now. But don't work the shoulder much. Yeah, there I use push-ups and that things to go downstairs and up, you know, because it is not that risky for your shoulder. Always when you go overhead, there is a risk in the shoulder because the bone and the here, there is a little space, and when you go in this direction and over, it goes a little bit far there and it crushes, it's make, you know. And so I always make more this and that and not overthink. And the thing is also the breathing, I have a other breathing. Normally people make breathe in, out, breathe in, breathe out. And I have a other style. I make it, for example, when I go down, I breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. You know, this is much quicker. And with that breathing, my heartbeat stays down and I can do more repetition and it is easier, you know. And the healthier way to me is, for example, when I make this, my variation, you know, when I go this, I make it from the hips, you see. My elbow is here in the joint, yeah, and there I have a break, you see that? Not here. Here I have to work. Here it is in the joint, and when I make this, I have a break. And from here, I push out my hips, bam, the elbow is here, and then I go a little bit under, and I stay up. So my shoulder has almost nothing to work. Very nice, because that is what I want. You know, I have shoulder pain. Right now not, thankfully, but I don't want to damage it. And this is the healthier way. A little bit the shoulder has to work. And so that is a very explosive thing. But also for the knees it is not that problem, because the weight is here and not here. You know, when you are out. Go up, and also when I go down, I make it in a absorbing way. The kettlebell comes, not boom, this. I go on my toes, you see that? I go a little bit on my toes. The kettlebell comes down, I let it fall, and here, when it comes in, I go, you see that? That is absorbing. Watch again. The other technique, the hard style. You know, this is hard. And now my style. You know, toes. Now it comes and I, you know. And that is, you can do a lot of more competitions, you know. And for other people, it look wow, awful, this, that, but it is the more intelligent way. But I use both styles, for example. On the swing, I use the hard style swing, you know. I go down, back, one movement. And in the competition style, they make this, but that is for the back, not the best way. So I go down, bam, and always very close to the body, never this, you know, always close, 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 back, up, boom, you know, and also here, down, up, down, you know. So you avoid back problems, your heartbeat goes up, your legs has to work, your shoulder also has to work, because it is a lot of repetitions. You have to hold the kettlebells on there. It's not that easy, you know. And that is one way. And now we go on with a little bit squats and a little bit lunges. So these were my squat variations, and always between them I make a little bit that movement, always a little bit that breathing, that I come down, always so 20 seconds, you know, and then I can go on, you know. The next are the lunges, then I explain you something. So, squats and lunges. Squats, normally the people make it that way, here. But the problem here is you have a lot of tension in your neck, and I don't want to have the tension here. I want to have the control over my legs. So I take it this, and here I can push it to my chest. You know, that loses a lot of tension here, especially when you use heavy weights. But of course, when you have a really heavy kettlebell, you cannot bring it up in that position that easy, you know. But I don't train with heavy kettlebells, it's the other thing. So and there I make the regular squat, you know. Little bit shoulder, hip right, breathe in, out. And I don't go too much down, only this, that I'm always straight, you know. Of course, I could go down completely, but now I'm not that straight anymore. That I can do with a TRX. A rope when I hold it, because then I can go down, 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 lean a little bit backwards, and I'm always straight. It's much more intelligent, you know, because you have to understand joints have a limited time how they work, you know. They are over one time and then we have a problem. And to the lunges, I have it in one hand. Why? Because then my abs has to work more when I hold it there. And when you have seen it, I go forward, I stop a little bit, and then I go down. I don't make the movement forward and go down. Because when you make this, watch to the knee, down, boom, the energy goes out there. It is a lot of pressure in the knees. And when I make the walk and then go down, the tension goes here, you know. Wait, when I go down, it goes up here, yeah. Better for your knees. But you have to know what you train for, yeah. These are safest things what I do, and normally when I go down, now is not a good option. I little bit go to the ground, but I am still under tension. Now I cannot do it because then my pant will be over in the sharp wet thing now, yeah. And that is the thing, the safest way to me to train. And I always train with a light kettlebell. I have here the 10 kilo kettlebell, and 10 kilo can also be a lot of weight when you use it for a long time. You know, many will say, oh, 10 kilo, nothing. But now listen to that. When you want to stay pain-free for 10, 20, 30 years, you have to train very intelligent. Always have an ear to old people, or older people who are a long time in the game, 20, 30 years. You know, when someone tells you, wow, I'm training 5 years, I look like a Hulk, 5 years is nothing, you know. When you are under 30, you can do almost everything. You will get not hurt, almost, you know. When you take steroids and you make 100 something presses within a few days, you know, you level up 50 kilos and you try, then you can make hook, of course. But normally the problem starts later, yeah. And when you train 10 years, yeah, and there you say I've trained 10 years, we've never had a problem, then I listen more carefully to you. But when you listen to older guys, 50, 60 years, it is always the same what they will tell you. When I ask them, what would you do when you would be now younger? You know, what is the first most important advice when you would be younger again and would be in your 20s? What would you do different? And they will always tell you, bah, I should have used not that much weight, you know, less weight, always the same, because my shoulder is over, they tell you, my hips is over, my knees are over, I cannot train now this and that, you know. For example, listen to Scooby, you know, maybe you know him, Scooby Training. He's one of the first YouTubers out there with fitness, you know. He has trained here 3 minutes with the bicycle from here, he has trained there. And he says the same, for example, yeah. So you have to be intelligent. And of course, when you want to make a dunk, then you have to use heavy weights, squat, all the heaviest things. I don't do it because I know when you do this 15, 20 years, then when you are 40, watch the older players, the movement from them. They are not that quick anymore. They have knee problems, you know, from the quick movements. In basketball, for example, the crossovers, bam, 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 bam. I don't do that because I know I cannot do that for 20, 30 years, yeah. And the same with weight. I'm not interested into jumping up to the ring. First, the injuries are very high when I'm 180, and when I jump on there and do that often, the impact is high. And when I don't hit it right, I have no control when I fall down. All things. And now I'm almost 40 and I'm completely pain-free now, you know. And that is important. And so this is why I use a kettlebell with not that much size. I can make push-ups. When you watch guys with 80 years, they can still make push-ups. And what means this? That this exercise is a great exercise. Of course, you will not get that pumped up, you will not be the strongest person, but you can have a muscular body, a trained body like a Bruce Lee, and that in a healthy way. Watch Jack LaLanne, you know, he trained in his late 80s and made push-ups and those things, you know. Always be intelligent, very, very important, you know. And I know younger guys want to use the heavier weights. When you are in the sport and you want to perform at the highest level, then you have to use heavy weights most of the times, otherwise you will have no chance. But I will give you a way how you can be fit and can train in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s and still enjoy it without problems. Talk to older people and they will tell you, I have their problem there, and we don't need this, you know. And that is why I always use this kettlebell. I use my rope for the pull-ups, I go downstairs and I make my push-ups and I run and I make a few ab exercises, and that is the best way to do it, to me, you know. And now we go on with a little bit bicep curls, and that we can do with the kettlebell and make a few more repetitions, and that's like also an ab training, because when the kettlebell is here you have to control your abs. You know, and that is very intelligent, believe me that. And when I make, for example, now shoulder exercises, I only make bottom up presses. That means now the grip is dry, I make it over. I show you the exercise and then I explain it to you. So only a few repetitions now, because I explained why I do that and not normal presses. By normal presses you can get more problems with your shoulder. And when I make this, watch where my elbow is and where my wrist is. Here is the bottom, that means the weight is in front of my shoulder and not beside. And when I go now up in that way, my elbow is never in that position, you know, always here. And that means what I told you, that I have more space in my joint when I go up, you know. And that is the safest way to train my shoulder. And it is very hard, I have to stabilize, because with the bottom up of the kettlebell it is really tough. I have my hand always here. If something happens, I have it. If it falls down here, I grab it. Yeah? And it trains your abs, you know. It's a tough exercise, grip, and very nice. And believe me, when you make the push-ups, you know, and go down the stairs with your hand, it trains also your shoulders, yeah. But of course you will not get the bodybuilder or the muscular guy, but you can be very fit when you do this. My prioritization right now is street ball, you know. I do this after my street ball workout. If your attention is more to your body, I would do it before. But always start with the technical things like clean, the jerk, what we did now before, and then go on to the more strength-based exercises. That is the best way, you know. And the abs, I make it last. And now we go on with the rope. But the problem with the rope is now, yeah, I do it. It is wet, and when it's wet, the rope is always a problem. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I have to watch, then I show you. So now the roping will add away, but I show you. Normally, here it is not perfect, you know, I don't want to damage something, but the problem is the wet thing. And a rope, I don't want that it gets wet, because when you have it at home and this is still wet inside, it's really not a good option. But here is a calisthenic park, a few meters away. There we drive on as the last exercise and can make in the wet a few pull-ups. But now the push-ups, I make a lot of push-ups, and there I have always the hand gloves that I get not open up on the floor. Yeah, always be intelligent, and there we make a few now. So normally I also make a few deadlift variation, you know, like this. From here, one hand, go up, from that side, go down, you know, for the back side, for your abs. But now, because I've trained now, training session number 3 today, a few push-ups. Right now you have to be careful, because normally I have my towel, yeah, that looks maybe a little bit soft, but I tell you, I have done this a lot of times, and the chance that you get open is very high, you know. And you have to be careful, because on such grounds, yeah, the thing is, when you open up there, there are, for example, when there is a lot of earth and things, you can get an infection. And when it is really, really stupid, You see, now I have nothing, but still you see here, yeah, you see right here, also with the gloves, you can get how it is called now. I have it in my head, but I cannot tell you now. But the thing is, there a towel always protects you, you know, very, very important. How it is called, where you get a needle, where you can impfen, I don't know. Wait, I have to remember it. Wait. So now I have it. Tetanus, very important, tetanus. It is a lot in the earth, and that you don't want to have. So take a towel wherever you are. It protects you that you don't bleed, and you can make it very nice, you know. So I was doing now only a little bit because to showing you. I always make it on my wrist, because on that I never could do always problems with my wrist, you know. I make it in that variation and not this. Also for the shoulders, I go close down, but not completely, a little bit. Best thing to me. And then it drains your chest, your triceps, your abs, and it is nice. And when you go down the stairs and up, you feel it in the shoulder in combination with the kettlebell. Yeah. Normally I make much more, but now I cool down a little bit, and so I'm careful. And now we go on to the last station, the pull-ups. So now we are here. I show you the calisthenics park that you have never seen. This is the park which is most used in the city. There is almost every time something. Not now. Now it's raining. But watch. It's very nice, small, but there are a lot of people all the time. And you can do a lot of stuff here. But one thing what they have done also here is they put on a new floor. And this is the completely, it is like a trampoline, yeah. I don't like those courts. It is like you go on the form. I like it hard way, you know. On asphalt, the best option in my opinion. But it is what it is. So and now think intelligent. Also now the bar is wet, you know. Dangerous because you can slip out, yeah. You don't have the best grip. And for example, if you would have a towel now, I put on my towel and then I can grab it here and make their pull-ups, you know. Much more intelligent. And I will tell also why I don't use heavy kettlebells, because I don't think it is useful. Yeah, now people will say, wow, what, stupid, you know. But listen to that. Make this 10-20 years and watch what the people maybe have, you know, back problems, this, that. And listen to guys, for example, Steve Maxwell, he doesn't train with kettlebells anymore. Yeah, that has a reason. For example, Björn Friedrich also said he's one of the German pioneers in kettlebell training. He was one of the first out there who did kettlebell, who did functional training. When almost no one did know about functional training, he was there. Listen to him what he tells you. He don't train with kettlebells anymore because he damaged himself. And that is the thing with heavy kettlebells. That is not a joke, because when you go into a swing and that, the kettlebell gets much more heavier than the weight is because you swing it, you know. Be careful. And that what I do is a very solid thing, but everyone trains a little bit other. And I use the light kettlebell, you know. I make there my squats. I can use 2 kettlebells, one light here and right there. And I make it a little bit longer, the training. And I get also fit. And I make also bicycling, you know, because with bicycling I can train my legs in a much better way than with weights. Sounds stupid, but watch for example guys who only drive upwards. They have big muscular legs, you know. You can put on mass on legs. I don't have it, you know, don't get me wrong now. But that works. And why is it better? Because when you make squats with a lot of weight, the danger for your back, for your knees is really high, and you cannot do this 20 years. You have to stop it one time when you go heavy. And with bicycling, you know, you sit on your bicycle and it is the safest way for your knee. Watch knee, people who get knee surgery, you know, when they get the operation, what have they to do after the operation surgery? What have they to do? They have to go on a bicycle and train their legs and knees. Then you know that bicycling is a good way. So make 1, 2, 3 times the weight training, body weight exercises, a few kettlebell exercises, lightweight, like I showed you. and make bicycling twice a week, you know, drive up to a mountain, you have a nice view, you enjoy the weather, and that is the most and safest way, you know, to do it for 10, 20, 30 years without getting into problems. You avoid heavy lifting. So SD card was full, and so you avoid the problems, and of course you cannot compete with that style in the competition. When you go there, this is never healthy, you know. But that's what I do. When you will do that, I tell you, it is the safest way to stay long without pain, without problems. You avoid all those stuff. You know, for example, watch CrossFitters. Watch them when they are young, when they compete, how much injuries they have. Then it says so it is not healthy. You know, I did also that back then, and I always had pain there. And once I thought, why should I do that? For what? I get nothing for it, you know. What do you get for it? Nothing. You know, when you think, when guys are here without their shirts and make their pumps, do you think when someone is driving with the bicycle, he thinks or she thinks, wow, great, ripped body, you know, completely uninteresting. I tell you that. Make it for your own, make it in the safest way, and that is the best thing. And now we try a few pull-ups, yeah, and then we have finished our workout. Let's do it. And another thing is what I do, I don't make full range of motion. For example, I know this is two things, full range of motion, always go completely straight, important, but I don't do it. I have my reasons, you know, you can think what you want. When people now think, bah, no full range of motion, I know what I'm doing, you can do what you want. To me, this is the best style to do it. And now let's make a few, but only a few. I don't want to slip out because completely wet everything. And that it is. I hope you enjoyed it. Work out. Make it intelligent, try to make it 10, 20, 30 years without a pain, and then I'm happy for you. So we will see us again. Until next time, bye and ciao.